What's going on, everybody? It's great to have you with me. I'm back. It's been a minute. Actually, it's been a couple weeks since I've been on. And the Vikings are still in the news because the NFL is a season-long deal. I cannot wait until a couple weeks from now when free agency starts, just so that we can be done with this back and forth nonsense. Whether you want Kirk Cousins to stay on this team or not, whether you want the Vikings to trade up to get a top 3 quarterback in this year's draft or not, I just can't wait until we have some answers. Kevin O'Connell, Kwesi, Adofo-Mensah had their press conferences at the Combine, and both sides want to take credit and say, see, we were right, when in reality, absolutely nothing was said today of any consequence outside of Kwesi Adofo-Mensah saying, yeah, I'm not trading Justin Jefferson, like we all didn't know that. If anybody actually thought we might be, sorry. But what's funny about it is everybody wants to say, see, we can take what was said here as gospel. When last week, when it didn't fit what you were hoping it to fit, well, what are people going to say? And things just come out and you can't believe everything you hear. Can we just label it all as nothing is 100% in stone and in concrete? Because honestly, it's just hilarious. The Kirk stands want to say, oh, see, Kirk's coming back. Coach wants him back. General manager wants him back. Yeah, you're leaving out the part where they both want him back at a certain price. I mean, that's nothing new. It's the same as it was this time last year. So we got a lot to talk about, though, and I'm really looking forward to tonight. Looking forward to spending a minute or two here with you guys. It will be 1 hour or less, give or take, because I have to go get Mini-Me from play rehearsal. So I can't ramble for 2 hours tonight. I've got a hard deadline, but let's get some shout-outs because, well, it's been a long time since I've got to shout anybody out. Number one in the building tonight, my SKOL Bro, SKOL Mafia. Mayday, J-Day, anybody but Kirk. You are correct, SKOL Mafia. Thank you so kindly for joining me as always. We got Gary in the building. What's going on, Gary? Good to see you. Thank you so much. We got the other Gary. What's going on, other Gary? Good to see you. My guy T-Bass is in the house. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Good evening as well to you. We got Davey in the building. If Kwesi relents and gives Kirk what he wants, I will have a new nickname for him. Yes. I'm not saying that it's a done deal that Kirk's not going to be back. But what I am saying is these ridiculous numbers of $51 million, if they get anywhere close and give in to this guy, yeah, I'm not saying that I'm done, but I have some serious doubts at that point. We got my guy, Vikings. Josh, what's going on? Good to see you. Let's keep the Vikings talk going. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. We got Grandpa Dave from Vikings First and SKOL. I know, Dave. I ain't got anything to you in minutes. Work's been crazy. Life's been crazy. Everything's been crazy. And if you guys don't already subscribe to Vikings First and SKOL, both on the YouTube page as well as your favorite podcast aggregator, give them a sub right away. Por favor, pretty please. We got my guy Raymond. What's going on? Good to see you. Thank you so kindly for joining as well. Appreciate all you guys and gals here tonight. Guess most people didn't like my mom. I didn't think it was that bad, T-Bass. I really didn't. But, can't make everybody happy. We got Lord Duncan in the house. What's going on? Everybody sub up to Lord Duncan's channel as well. Hit him up with a sub. I thought he did well too. I told you. I totally agree. I thought you did well. You did better than I could because I don't do the mock drafts all that much. If I'm sitting in, like if I were to sit in with Tyler and Dave or one bar of those guys, could I contribute a little bit to it? I couldn't run the mock draft myself. So when Bob gets in here, it's going to be like, hey, sorry, Bob. Can't help you. We got Reggie in the building. What's going on, Reggie? Good to see you guys. Thank you so kindly for joining. A few more shout-outs here. We got a couple shout-outs we got to do. And then we'll get this show started here. We got SKOL for Life Barber, 1975. What's up, Barber? Good to see you. Thank you so kindly for joining. Yeah. If you don't already know, check out One Bar in Lubbock. If you didn't check them out there, Lubbock went solo tonight, and he had a couple of mock drafts. They're pretty good. I thought they were pretty good. What's up, my guy in the zone podcast? Everybody sub up in the zone as well. Yes, I did. I actually directly messaged you and said I'm going live right after the show, and Lubbock just put it up. So if you missed it, my brother, I missed it. You missed it, man. Yes, it has been a minute. Yes, it has. What's up, Dan? Good to see you again as well. Thank you kindly. Minnesota and Dallas both starting each other down, seeing what either team does with their star wide receiver. Who's going to play first? That's a possibility. And what's funny about it, T-Bass, and I've said this for 3 years, Kirk Cousins and Dak Prescott are the same quarterback, not necessarily in their style of play, but what you can do with them. They have a ceiling of the divisional round of the playoffs. And if I was a Dallas Cowboys fan, I'd be saying the same thing about Dak. It's time to move on and start somewhere else. You know what you're going to get out of them. What you're going to get out of them is that you're not going to be horrible. We saw what happened when Kirk went down this year. The Vikings were horrible. We saw what happened when Dak went down a couple of years ago. They were horrible. What do they get you, though? They get you mediocrity. Divisional round of the playoffs, as far as you're going to go with either one of those guys. But I agree. They are kind of playing the stare down game with their wide receivers because, again, do you sign them? Do you try and trade them? I don't know. We'll talk about it a little bit more. What's up, Mr. Tana? Good to see you. Lots of love, but not committal. Well, of course, they're not going to. Again, there's so much that they're going to say, and there's so much they're not going to say. And why would they tip their hand, especially 2 weeks away? You're not going to tip your hand now. I mean, you're not going to tip it ever, but you're certainly not going to do it now. What's up, Two-Tone? Tony, good to see you. We got Northfiest in the building. What's going on, Northfiest? Thanks for coming. I got a whole lot here. You guys are on fire tonight. A lot of hellos and what's going on. Thank you, Lord Duncan. I appreciate you. Hit that like button. If you don't already subscribe, hit that subscribe button. And thank you to everybody. Thank you for reminding me, Lord Duncan, by hitting that one up here. I hit 1K. Thank you so very, very much. Ladies and gentlemen, you all the OGs. You guys are all OGs. Thank you so very, very much. It's been a journey. It's been a trek. But hey, we made it. Shout out Vikings Fever for the 3-month membership. There you go. There you go. I'm going to get back to being in the rotation, whether I'm doing more lives or whether I do some more episodic things and some more shorts. Work's been crazy, like I said, and that's starting to calm down, although that will never, ever be totally calmed down. But I'm going to get back on the train. Say, hey, you got to deliver. You told the people you're going to deliver. So thank you, everybody, for helping me to that 1,000. And if you know anybody else that isn't subscribed to me, tell them, please. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about that. I totally agree with what you got going on there, Lord. I totally agree. Did I miss? We got a house call from the doctor. What's going on? There you go. Who's in YouTube jail? Seriously? Sarah is? Oh, what'd she do now? She probably got kicked off arguing with Dave from Minnesota Sports Talk. If you don't follow Dave or Sarah on Twitter/X, those two. And Mafia is right there with him. I love my guy Dave, but it's like, dude, calm down on the incessant Kirk love, but I digress. Florio KO say he's 100% Kirk back white. Well, it's not that Kevin O'Connell does or doesn't want. Of course, he's going to want the guy that he's worked with for the first 2 years and has a halfway decent amount of success. And what's O'Connell going to say? No, I don't want the guy back who he's the only starting quarterback I've had sans the injuries. And look what happened when he got injured. Of course, Kevin O'Connell's going to want him. Now, and what price? What kind of team can you build around a quarterback that is fringe top 10, somewhere between 8 and 12 on market value, 45 million, 50 million against the cap? At some point, we've been doing it for 6 years. And everybody want to say, well, it's everything but Kirk. Well, no, it's not everything but we'll talk about it. You guys keep the chats coming here. I'm going to kill the music. You all know how we start this. If this is your first time here. This is how we do things. First off, we need to move this up and over there. And real quick, one more time, if you didn't already do so, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button if you could, please. Tonight hits home a little bit different, particularly if you are in the Minnesota area. And most of y'all are going to know where this is going. But it's the same regardless. And if this is your first time here, no, I'm not grandstanding. This is just what I do. This is just who I am. So we shout out everybody in the chat, particularly new members. If this is the first time, we give you a special shout out, but we always give shout outs to a group of men and women who deserve the shouts more than anybody else. And I'm talking about the active and veteran members of every branch of our armed forces who have sacrificed their time and in some cases their lives for our freedoms. We also want to shout out to the family members of these brave men and women who have to sacrifice time away for their loved ones. Thank you so very kindly for everything that you have given every member of this country and beyond. We also shout out the absolute brave men and women who serve as our law enforcement, our firefighters, and our EMS, who in times of tragedy are the ones running towards the danger to help the rest of us get away from it. Special shout out tonight go to the 3 police officers and firefighter who were involved in that shooting last weekend. Two of the police officers lost their lives. The firefighter lost his life, and a third police officer injured, and who is currently recovering. You guys put your lives on the line every day when you go to work, potentially. So we're going to shout you out here and say thank you to the surviving member of that tragedy, in addition to the bravery that you showed. Godspeed to you, because there is this thing called survivor's guilt. You've heard anybody who's ever been in a situation like that or in the military who were fortunate enough to come home, all their brothers and sisters, not necessarily the case. We shout you out here tonight and we say thank you so very, very kindly for your brave acts of compassion, kindness, and everything that you do. And finally, shout out goes to the brave men and women who serve as our doctors, nurses, frontline workers, surgeons, home health care providers, etc., who in our time of medical need are always there to do their level best to take care of us. Their Super Bowl is going home saying, I went to work today and saved a life. Now, I shout out these brave men and women at the start or around the start of every one of the shows I do, simply to say thank you, because they at times can work very thankless jobs. And so I'm going to say thank you. So thank you very kindly. All right, let's get back to the chats because you guys are on fire tonight. You're on fire tonight. Yeah, there's Sarah. Shout out, Sarah. What's going on? I'm in YouTube jail. I can't post comments on any videos, only chat and live streams. Okay. All right. Sarah, I'd love to hear that story someday. I hope it wasn't you and Dave arguing too much. Actually, I hope it was, because it would be rather hilarious, but that's all right. I don't have a computer, so I can't. Oh, that's right. It's all good, Mafia. Yeah, I know you. I know you got my back. I know you got my back. Actually, I missed one here from Tonic. We love Kirk, but actually scooping out the quarterbacks. Oh, yeah. I feel you. I feel you. Got a couple of new ones in here, guys, and then we'll get to talking here. I'll just leave that one up there for a minute. 51 for any quarterback not named Patrick Mahomes is insane. I would think that's insane for Josh Allen and Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson. 51 for any quarterback. I don't care that the salary cap keeps going up. I don't care that the percentage of the cap is relatively the same. 51 million is insane, and it is certainly insane for guys like Kirk and guys like Dak. And I saw a report that Dak wants 60 million a year. Shut the front door, dude. I like Dak Prescott. I like him slightly more than I like Kirk, not by much, because again, I think his ceiling is the same. But 51 million for Kirk and 60 for Dak. Get out of here. I agree with you, Vikings funeral. 35 is as high as I go. And by the way, I say 25 because you got that 10 extra million in the dead cap hit. But yeah, I'm at the point, and we're going to talk about it tonight. Y'all know where I stand on it. But shout out Vaughn. What's going on? Good to see you. Got the Joey Bronner on the avatar. Thank you so kindly for joining. We got Darian in the building. What's going on? Good to see you. Good to see you. We're going to talk about him, Sarah. We're going to talk about him. That's for sure. Hall's a long way away. Oh, you're talking about Jaron Hall. Yeah. Absolutely. Appreciate you. So, I heard some Kirk Stan's feelings. I had a hunch that might have a little something to do with it, Sarah. I really did. Vikings fan 123, shout out to you as well. Thank you kindly for joining. Appreciate you. Dr. Proto, I'm admitted Kirk and Stan, but 51 is even beyond my drunkest thoughts. Okay. There you go. No Stop, what's going on? Good to see you. Thank you. Everybody shout out No Stop. Appreciate you swinging on by here tonight. First time that I can recall, so we're going to give you this special shout. Everybody hit up the chat and get No Stop, the warm welcome that we in this Vikings community show each and every person their first time through here. All right. I meant that including the decade. Okay, yes. All right, perfect. So again, in fact, let's just start it out here right now. Let's just get to it. I was going to start with JJ, but let's start with Kirk Cousins. Okay. It's not about the money. It's about what it represents. And I'm amenable to taking a discount because I really want to stay in Minnesota. And I love the kindergarten teachers here because apparently the kindergarten teachers in Minnesota are the only ones that teach kindergarten very well. I don't know. In all seriousness, this was never about what Kirk Cousins was or wasn't going to do. He was always going to stay true to himself. And I don't begrudge him that. Let me be very, very clear. I do not begrudge any player in any sport where the owners make billions upon billions of dollars and the players make millions upon millions of dollars. So let me be clear. I am in no way insinuating that Kirk Cousins should give the Vikings a discount. And if you're not planning on doing that, fine. I don't begrudge you that. But don't come out and say it and then act the way that you've been acting. How's he been acting? Well, there's nothing wrong with putting out videos that you're making progress. Interesting timing. I said this a couple of weeks ago when the comment from Charlie Walters came out about how much it was going to cost the Vikings to keep Kirk. And then he came out and said, hey, yeah, I'm doing great. I'm ahead of progress and all that. Funny, this weekend, right before the scouting combine, where we all know tampering takes place because agents and coaches are going to be watching the college kids. And of course, they're going to be discussing players that are already in the NFL. So it's the hush hush tampering period as opposed to the legal tampering period. It's ridiculous that the NFL has all these things, but funny. Right before the scouting combine, hey, I'm chucking balls all over the place. I'm setting my feet. I'm planting. I'm good. I'm ready to go. I'll be ready by the time OTA start. I'll be ready by the time preseason starts, and I'll definitely be ready by the time the regular season starts. Make no mistake about it. Kirk Cousins is a shrewd businessman, as well he should be. Again, I don't want to make it sound like, how dare he? He's greedy. No, he's not being greedy. He's being like any other human being would be. Get as much as you can. Know your value. And so he's trying to pump up his value. Don't blame him for that one bit. Anybody who says that Kirk should take a discount, no, he shouldn't. If he wants to, if he's serious about what he's saying, that he's going to take a discount so that he can stay in Minnesota and help build a Super Bowl contending team and not just a playoff contending team, fine. But pick a lane. Go one way or the other. If you're going to give the team a discount, it would have already been done. So no, he's not. Let's go back in time 12 months after the Vikings were coming off a 13-4 season. Kirk Cousins had 1 year left on his deal. He and the Vikings were in negotiations for an extension. The Vikings wanted to give him one additional year because they wanted him for 2024, and then they wanted to cut the cord after that. Kirk said, no, I want 3 years. Kirk offered a 2-year, fully guaranteed compromise. The Vikings said, no, we'll give you 1 year, fully guaranteed, and we'll have a second year tacked on, but we're not going to throw a whole lot of guaranteed money in that because we want an out after 2024 if we found our guy or if you have fallen off the age cliff. Absolutely nothing has changed from either side over the last 12 months. After they didn't come to a deal last offseason, Kirk said it all throughout the summer at OTAs. No, we're just going to play this season out and we'll deal with it again in March. Okay, here we are, 2 days away from March, less than 2 weeks away from the legal tampering period. Here's what's going to happen. Kirk's either going to give in to what the Vikings have said that they will give him, which is 1 year, full of guarantees, and maybe an option for a second year that doesn't have very many, if any, guarantees at all, or he's not. And he's going to go to a different team, maybe the Atlanta Falcons. We've all heard that about his wife being from there, and that would be a great fit because the coach today said something to the effect of, if we had better quarterback play, we would have made the playoffs. You know what? We know a guy that can help you with that because he's a top 10 quarterback. Not much more than that, but not much less than that either. Even coming off an Achilles injury, I'll take Kirk Cousins over about almost every quarterback in the NFL outside of the top 10. Sure. And if you are looking for a quarterback that is going to take you from the borderline bad situation to a playoff team, he's your guy. If you're looking for him to win a Super Bowl at market value, he's not your guy. So as far as the Vikings go, please, please, please stand firm in what you've been saying, which is we want him back for 1 more year at the right price. My biggest fear to this day still remains that somehow, some way, after all is said and done, and when Kwesi goes to the Wilfs and says, you know what, we offered him this, he won't take it, he wants that, and what that is too much, I still fear that the Wilfs may still come down from on high and say, well, what's your plan B? Well, we're going to trade up and we're going to try to get one of the top 3 quarterbacks. Well, what does that mean for 2024? Well, what that means is we're probably going to take a step back. It's no guarantee. That's the other thing I love about Kirk's stance. Well, if we trade up and get Jaden Daniels or Drake Maye or somehow, some way Caleb Williams, we're going to take a step back and we're going to get worse at the quarterback position. First off, you don't know that. Tell CJ Stroud that he's worse than whoever the Texans quarterback was in 2022. Tell CJ Stroud that. So it is not a guarantee that if the Vikings move off of Kirk Cousins, that they are destined to be taking a step back at the quarterback position. It is possible. Absolutely. Is it even likely? Yes. But it's called short-term pain for long-term gain. Kirk Cousins, either take your discounts, sign up for 1 more year, knowing it's going to be your last year. You don't even have, I'm so sick of hearing about that. Well, we should get a quarterback and we should have Kirk Cousins mentor him. No, Kirk Cousins' job is not to mentor his replacement. That is the job of the head coach, the offensive coordinator, and the quarterback's coach. That's not Kirk Cousins' job. I'm so sick of hearing about that, by the way. And I don't blame Kirk Cousins, just like I didn't blame Brett Favre or Aaron Rodgers or any other quarterback whose replacement was drafted. It was not Tony Romo's job to groom Dak Prescott. It's not Kirk Cousins' job to groom the next guy. It's Kirk Cousins' job to go out there and be the best version of himself or whoever he plays for. So let's put that to bed. I'm kind of sick of hearing about that. But what I will say is this. Kirk, one way or the other, in the next 2 weeks, we're going to have a resolution on this. I have made it clear that I'm ready to rip off the Band-Aid and just move on, because even if Kirk did take a team-friendly deal, and I agree with Vikings Funeral and other players, other people in the chat and things that I have said in the past, if Kirk Cousins wants to come back on a team-friendly deal, it can't be a $5 million discount off of what his market value is. It's got to be 15 to 20 million off of what his market value is. Otherwise, it doesn't make sense. One of the problems you have with good, not great quarterbacks is that if you're giving them market value, you have no margin of error. You have to draft perfectly. You have to make shrewd free agent moves, and you have to hope that you don't have a lot of injuries. I don't want that anymore. I want the opportunity to have a quarterback on a rookie scale contract where you can then spend money on other players to bolster the rest of this roster. And you hope that you find gold and get a top 10 to top 15 production out of your rookie quarterback while he's on a rookie contract. That's the way, unless you strike ultimate gold and find yourself a Hall of Fame quarterback, a legendary quarterback. And by the way, for anybody who wants to say, well, it's not that easy to just find Patrick Mahomes. You want to know what is the most difficult part about finding a Patrick Mahomes? Not actually trying. Okay, you psych yourself out. Oh, well, it's not that easy to find a Patrick Mahomes. Guess what? You won't find him if you don't go looking for him. The Kansas City Chiefs had gone to the playoffs 4 consecutive years, had gone to the division round of the playoffs, and I think one AFC championship game. I don't remember the exact scenario, but the point is that they were winning 10, 11, 12, 13 games consistently with Alex Smith, who is a comparable quarterback to Kirk Cousins. And Hall of Fame head coach Andy Reid said, I've gone as far as I can with this guy. That doesn't mean that Alex Smith was terrible. That doesn't mean that Alex Smith was the problem. What it meant was you've squeezed every juice out of that turnip that you can get. And the Kansas City Chiefs, they took a risk. And yes, it has paid off in spades beyond even their wildest imagination. They didn't even know Patrick Mahomes was going to be this good. So what am I saying here? What I'm saying here is if you never take a chance, then you'll never find your guy. Now, am I suggesting that Drake Maye, Caleb Williams, or Jaden Daniels is going to be the next Patrick Mahomes? I have no idea. It's a long shot. But what I'm saying is I'm sick of being stuck in the middle. My video after the season ended has Ziggy and Mark Will. If you didn't catch that, it's called Mired in Mediocrity. And I'm willing to take the risk that we take a step back at the quarterback position under the guise that hopefully our roster can be better constructed. So yes, I am done. I don't want to see Kirk back, not because I think he's terrible, not because I think he's the ultimate problem. That's not what I'm saying. So the Kirk stands will listen to that, and they'll say, Justin, you hate Kirk Cousins. No, I don't hate Kirk Cousins. I think he's the 4th best quarterback in Vikings history, outside of Fran Tarkington, Tommy Kramer, and Dante Culpepper. And I would say him and Dante are pretty close, but I'll still take Dante. He did get us to an NFC championship game, and he was running up MVP. Yes, Dante had some higher highs and some lower lows than Kirk did, where Kirk was kind of the steady train in the middle. Bottom line is this. At some point, you can't keep running it back. Well, we've turned this roster over. There's only 5 players left from the Zimmer era. We've turned over. We're not just running it back. Running it back refers to your quarterback, because as everybody knows, that's the most important position on the team. That's the most influential position on the team. So you can trade out all other 52 guys. You still got the same quarterback. You're running it back. That's the reality. So my stance has always been, there would be a number, probably about 20 to 25 million, where I would be accepting of Kirk Cousins coming back, but he's not going to take that. And for all the Kirk stands out there, well, what's so wrong with signing Kirk to a 1-year extension and then drafting our guy and going with Kirk? Kirk's not taking a 1-year extension. Why would he? That would be selling himself short, and nobody expects him to do that. This ridiculous notion. Oh, we'll sign Kirk for 1 year. This is Kirk Cousins' last chance to get a big contract. Why in the world is he going to sign a 1-year deal where he's going to be 36 this season and be a free agent while he's 37 and has less earning potential? So no. And I don't even want to sign him for 1 year, because all you're doing is pushing your dead cap hits further down the road. You got a $28.5 million dead cap hit. You also got a $15 million dead cap hit with Danielle Hunter and another 6 or 7 with Marcus Davenport. So you got about $50 million of dead cap hits. I am so sick and tired of void years and dead cap hits. There is a time where that's a good strategy, when you have a complete roster. And by the way, this isn't a complete roster right now. There are so many holes on this roster right now. Since this team lost in 2019 in the division round of the playoffs, the 49ers, Stephon Diggs, last game, we've had 4 seasons and we've had 3 losing seasons, and we had 1 pop-up fluke season. Don't get me wrong. 2022 was a lot of fun. I got to go to the Packers game. I got to go to the Cardinals game, and I got to go to the Colts game, the greatest comeback ever. Me and somebody very near and dear to my heart, we took my daughter and her son. It was their first game that those two got to go to, and it was an incredible afternoon. It was an incredible time. But what did that get us in the pantheon of actually getting close to a Super Bowl? Nowhere. So this ridiculous notion, well, if Kirk Cousins hadn't gotten hurt, we would have gone to the NFC Championship game, and we might have even won the Super Bowl because we beat San Francisco in October. What's that got to do with the price of tea in China? Not much. And, well, we hung tough with Kansas City at home. A couple of bad calls here and there. If ifs and buts were candy and nuts. If it was a fifth, we'd all be drunk. And all that other good stuff. So, for anybody who wants to say that, by the way, I suppose we should be congratulating the Green Bay Packers on their Super Bowl championship, right? Because if they hadn't blown the game against San Francisco, they would have won the Super Bowl because they beat Kansas City earlier this year. I don't hear any Vikings fans who want to be delusional enough to think that if Kirk hadn't gotten hurt, we'd be champions right now, or we would have gone to the NFC Championship. I don't hear anybody saying that about the Packers. So can we shut the front door about that nonsense? So I've always long since said I don't think Kirk Cousins will be back because I don't think he's going to take a low enough deal. I hope that Kwesi sticks to his guns to say, hey, we want you back at this price, but anything above that, we're not going to do it. And I hope that Ziggy and Mark Wilf don't come down from on high and have their short-sighted, well, if we don't bring Kirk back, then we're going to have a bad year in 2024. First off, that's not guaranteed. Second of all, don't be so narrow-minded to only look at 1 year at a time. 1 year at a time. Okay. Back to the chats. Holy bazillion chats in here, ladies and gentlemen. So it's going to take me a minute to catch up to all of you guys. And I'll probably, if I see something good here, I'll get it. But I'm going to shout out everybody who's in here. We got a couple of things we shout outs. First off, SKOL Mafia for the $4.99 super chat. Great having you back. I appreciate it. Thank you so very much. Shout out to Evil to Hope. What's going on? Good to see you. You know what? There's part of me that wants to be done with the Ice Tay, but I'm really scared as to what else you would start going with on that. So I'm just going to leave that one alone. So thank you kindly to Evil, as always, for joining me. You pissed off Matt Collar. What'd you say? Norsefius, tell me, what do you got going on? What did you say to Matthew Collar? And I don't know why people don't like Matthew Collar. He's straight. I mean, again, he can be a touch kind of thing, but that's, whatever. But he's spot on with his evaluations. Represents the money. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Nice. Okay. Did I miss Sarah's story? Hold on. Oh, here it is. I told a Kirk stan I can't understand a word they were saying. Wow, Sarah. Okay. All right. I hope it was worth it. Shout out. No stop. What's the game? What's going on? There you go. See, I told you no stop. They'd hit you up. Told you. There you go. Go get paid, Kirk, if you won't want to be perfect. Yes, totally agree. Players want money. Owners want to keep the money in the wallet. It's always been there. Oh, absolutely. Which is why, again, let me be clear. I'm not saying Kirk owes the Vikings anything. Yeah, everyone will say, well, he took almost $250 million for one player. That's true, but he doesn't know. No player owes a team anything. They don't. And if this team is capable of cutting guys like Eric Kendricks and Adam Thielen and Dalvin Cook, yeah, nobody owes anybody anything. Nobody owes anything anyway. And I'll say again, one of the things that I really just want to be done with him is, again, if you sign him to a deal, you're just pushing dead cap hits forward. What I liked about what the Vikings did last year when they cut Thielen and Kendricks is they said, we're taking the lumps right here, right now. And that's part of the reason why they've got the money that they do. Yes, I know the cap went up a little bit too, and that's all well and good, but I like Kirk, but can't mortgage our future. Totally agree. Some hellos here and there. I thought I saw one or two names. What's a fair price for Kirk? Again, I'd give him a 2-year deal for $45 million total. And he's not going to take that, nor should he. But that's about what my number would be. Give him $25 million this year, $20 million next year. So then you'd have cap hits of 35 and 30 respectively. And then you'd only have an $8 million dead cap hit in 2026. But even then, I don't want to do it because, again, that's money that could be spent in other areas of the team. So if I'm going to be fair, that would be what my fair offer would be. And I know daggone well he wouldn't take it. I know he absolutely would not take that. So My biggest fear is we trade up and we still take McCown. Now that I'd be pissed off about, Josh. No, if you trade up to 3, you get one of the big 3. I'm not saying I don't like JJ McCarthy. Okay, Zoe's gonna get on me about this here, but I like JJ McCarthy, and I'd love to be picking him in the second round at pick number 42 if we decide not to trade up. I'm not too keen on taking him at 11, and I'm certainly not keen at all about trade. If you trade up to 3, no, you take one of the big 3. Period. End of discussion there. Norsby says Dak is Kirk, both mediocre / good, both 4th round picks. Time to jump for a franchise quarterback. I totally agree, Norsby. I totally agree. A small step back at quarterback, big step forward for the team. Thank you, Dan. Oh, how can your team be getting better if you're getting worse at the quarterback position? I don't know, because maybe you're filling 4 other holes that might make your team better. Just maybe. Sarah says, if we re-sign Kirk ain't letting us draft a quarterback. That's another thing. Thank you. Thank you, Sarah. I meant to get to that, and then I just got on such a roll. I totally forgot to say it. Yeah. Part of Kirk's is saying, okay, I want 2 years guaranteed. I want a no-trade clause, and you better not take a quarterback at the number 11 pick. No, dude. I'd give that to Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen or Joe Burrow, maybe Lamar Jackson, but I'm not giving that kind of a deal to him. Absolutely not. And again, why do you hate Kirk? I don't hate Kirk. I've just seen enough. We've gone as far as we can. It's okay to say we've gone as far as we can with the guy. It's not all his fault, but he's not immune from fault either. So, like I said, I just can't wait to be done with the Civil War. I just cannot wait. Hey, everybody, shout out SKOL for what's up, SKOL for Life. Hey, real quick, you guys. SKOL for Life messaged me a couple weeks ago. He's had some personal issues, some health issues going on, and I'm not going to get any more details because it's not my story to tell beyond that. But everybody, shout out SKOL for Life and say hello. Welcome back, SKOL for Life. Thank you so kindly for joining tonight, and I'm glad to see you back in here. And I hope you continue to be doing well as well. Thank you so kindly for joining me. Joining all of us. Reset. Like button. Hit that like button if you could, please. Hit that subscribe button if you don't already subscribe to Purple and Gold for Days. Very much appreciate it. Here we go, Sarah. Run it back. Kirk can take us to the Super Bowl, another parallel universe. I don't even know in a parallel universe. I don't even know. 24 out of 28. Well done. Thank you kindly. Appreciate it. Oh, wow. That was 10 minutes ago. Yeah. What is Kirk stand? Okay. Like Taylor Swift has Swifties. We say a stand for anybody is somebody that stands for that person, good, bad, or indifferent. Like if you ask a Swiftie, is anybody else on the planet Earth that has ever walked a better singer than Taylor Swift? If you say Michael Jackson or Whitney Houston or Dolly Parton make up the Mount Rushmore with Taylor Swift, no. Taylor's the best. And if you say anything else, you're a Taylor hater. So that's a Swiftie, okay? Stands for anybody. Kirk stands. Kirk Cousins. You can't blame Kirk for anything. Nothing is ever Kirk Cousins' fault. So a Kirk stan is like a Swiftie. No stop. That's what it is. And I like my guy Rhino from Vikings Uncensored, where he says the Kirkistans because they're from Kyrgyzstan, like Pakistan. They're from Kyrgyzstan. Anyway, I digress. Dante pre-injury was way better than Kirk being. Oh, absolutely. And you're right. It doesn't. I mean, here's my order real quick. Fran, Tommy, Dante, Kirk, Wade Wilson. And I put those guys ahead of Cunningham, George, and Favre because those guys were all one-hit wonders. You have to have at least 3 years of sustained success. And again, that's not a knock on Kirk to say that I would slightly take Dante above him. Yeah, Dante could torpedo you, but Dante could also elevate you. I did. Homer, I get. Yeah, there you go. Exactly. There you go. Blind, unproven faith. Yeah, that's another way of saying it. Shout out my guy, Rap at Vocal Vike. If you don't already subscribe to Vocal Vike, hit my guy up, Rap with us up. Who is this guy? Well, yeah, I'm back, Rap. Thank you kindly. Again, just move on, draft your quarterback, sign a bridge quarterback. Yeah, that's the other thing. Thank you, Tonic. I appreciate that. Why don't we sign Kirk Cousins as our bridge quarterback? If Kirk Cousins was willing to take the salary commensurate with a bridge quarterback, I'm listening to it. I still don't like it because even if Kirk said I'll sign for $15 million for 1 year with a no trade clause, and you can draft whoever you want, even if he was willing to be the bridge quarterback, you're still pushing $18.5 million dead into next season's salary cap. I don't want to do it. There's not enough intrinsic value under any circumstance for me, even if he played for darn near for free, because you still have to push money out, and I'd rather just pay the debt and be done. Good to see you. Good to see you. All right, there was a couple more in here. If coulda, woulda, kind of, yeah, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Yes, I could have, would have been a millionaire and bought I bought a lottery ticket. Yes. If Kirk hadn't gotten hurt, we would have been in the NFC Championship game, because when we played Detroit, we only lost after Nick Mullins threw 4 interceptions. And if Kirk had played, they wouldn't have gone down that way. Yes, we're going to pretend like the butterfly effect does not exist. Are y'all ready for Drake? I don't understand. By the way, Zoe, if you're still here, please explain to me why you don't like Drake Maye. I don't dislike Matthew Keller. Maybe because he has the same thought process that I do, which is I'm ready to be done. I'm ready to try something different besides being mediocre all the time. Yeah. As billionaires, I can only assume the Wills have already learned how to look ahead. No, well, maybe when in their other business ventures, they might. But as far as the Vikings go, they play 1 year at a time. How can we have the best possible season right here, right now? I think the attendance report that came out showed U.S. Bank was 22 out of 32 this year. The Wills have noticed and want that to be. I hope so, Dylan. I hope so. I hope you're right. I simply asked Collar if he had a 10-year-old decorator to. Oh, well, he does take things personally. I will give you that. I will do that. Because if we sign Kirk, KOC won't bench him for the rookie if he's playing back. Yes. Again, that's why I just want to be done. I'm totally with you. He kind of really is. Was that on today's show? Northfields, what show was that on? Was that on today? Is that on yesterday? I haven't listened to him in the last couple of days. Good to see you. Good to see you. I'm only going to be on for about another 25. Does he want 50 million a year? I'm sure he does. I mean, who wouldn't? Ain't nobody trying to sign. No, I totally agree. Can't draft scared. You are correct. Scared money don't make money, as they say. We take Verse at 11, then trade back into the first with Zona to take over McCarthy. I could listen to that. I absolutely could listen to that. McCarthy isn't making a pass. No, I don't. Well, that's true. Yeah, a lot of people saying that Denver's might be in on him if they don't get Kirk or somebody. You're quite welcome. You are quite welcome. And thanks for coming, man. Thanks for stopping by. Shout out Mick in the building. What's going on, Mick? Dewey had a hot take. Said, "Oh yeah, yeah." He did say that it was not official. He just said that person's opinion was that Kirk was gone, and I hope he's right. Because Doogie specifically said, "Hey, just a guy who knows stuff. He's not reporting it, so don't take it as gospel. But that it's his opinion that he thinks he's not coming back. I certainly hope so. I certainly hope so." Just a fan myself. Yeah. Kirkistanians. There you go. Got started by somebody I know. Yes. There you go. This is anybody but Kirking. There you go. And again, let me be clear. I'm not saying he's terrible, just like Alex Smith wasn't terrible, but he had gone as far as you can go. Shout out Duncan in the building. What's going on? Relocate. Kirko funds. Oh, what fun. D-line. Oh, yes, exactly. They said Kirk is too early to celebrate. Yeah, it's too early to celebrate yet. And what's funny about it, and I said this earlier before you got here, Mick, that after the press conferences today, all the Kirk stands wanted to do some peacocking, saying, see, 2 more years, 3 more years, sign them up. Here we go. And again, I just want the Civil War to stop because we all want the same thing. It's just, demand more for your team. Demand more. Well, if we don't bring Kirk back, we might have a 4 or 5 win season. Okay, maybe. It's possible. You could even say it's greater than 50-50 that if we're running out Nick Mullins for the first 6 weeks and then putting in a rookie quarterback, that we might have a down season. We had a down season. Again, 3 of the last 4 seasons since the last time we've been to the division round of the playoffs have been losing seasons. If you're going to have one of those, at least have one where you're actually developing somebody and actually making inroads towards what you want, which is to not be competitive, to just be in the wild card hunt, not be competitive, to maybe winning a division and losing at home in the first round, or heaven forbid, you win the first round game, then you go on the road to somewhere and you lose in the divisional round of the playoffs. All right. I think I got caught up on the chats here. We're pretty close, so that's good enough for me. All right, we got one here from Too Evil. Can we get Dave on to talk about Cousins cap hit? Not tonight. In fact, we were supposed to go on tonight. And he's like, hey, let's push it back to next week. I said, yeah, seen you've gotten into some Twitter scuffles there, which, okay, fine. I mean, again, everybody, it's a great thing about America. Everybody has an opinion. And the great thing about America is you don't have to listen. You don't have to agree with everything everybody say. And that's fine. I'm just saying, how do you not see that we've done the same thing over and over again? And it's not just about Kirk. It's about this entire franchise, my entire lifetime. Again, 5 NFC championship games in almost 44 years, one every 9 years. We have one pop-up season. Yeah, we don't train wreck very often, but we also don't have seasons of sustained success. The last time we went to the playoffs in back-to-back seasons was 2008 and 2009 under Brad Childress. Think about that for a second. And the last time we've been to the playoffs 3 consecutive years was 1987, 88, and 89. Let that sink in. Those are the last 2 times, starting in 1987, the first of the 5 NFC championship games in my lifetime. Those are the only 2 times in my lifetime where we have gone to the playoffs in consecutive seasons. Excuse me. I left out the 97, 98, 99, and 2000. That was the other one. So 3 times total in my lifetime where we've had consecutive playoff appearances, 44 years. But you get my point. The point is this team is always hovering right around. It's Christmas time and the Christmas game on NFL Today on CBS or Fox. Let's put up the NFC playoff bracket. The Vikings are still in the hunt. They need about 16 things to happen. Our standard should be higher than, well, we didn't get eliminated until the last week of the season or we lost in the wild card division. Higher standards, ladies and gentlemen, higher standards. There needs to be a rule if you can't win a Super Bowl. There's that. Bo Nix did show up in somebody's mock draft. Yeah, I'm out on Bo Nix unless it's like 3rd round. And even then, I don't have a whole lot of faith in him. Shout out, AJ. What's going on? Good to see you, man. Thanks for coming. What's good? Hey, it's good to be back. It's good to have you guys and gals all here tonight. All right, what's next on the extravaganza? Justin Jefferson. Let's talk about him. Let me make this clear in no uncertain terms. Justin Jefferson is going nowhere except US Bank Stadium, and he's going to be wearing purple for many years to come. The Vikings were this close from getting the deal done last year. Why it didn't happen, nobody knows. It's anybody's guess. But I'm just going to tell you right now. It's only about the guarantees. It's only about the structure, and they're going to get it done. Now, Justin Jefferson said, I'd love to have Kirk Cousins back. I'm sure he would. Just like O'Connell and Kwesi. Well, we'd love to have him back. If he is, great. If he's not, oh well. But it's not one of those deals where it is make or break it. The Kirk stands can say all they want that, if we don't sign Kirk Cousins, we're going to lose Justin Jefferson. Not true. Not necessarily true. You really think that if the Vikings didn't re-sign Kirk Cousins and then brought in Jaden Daniels from LSU, that Justin Jefferson would have a problem with that? No, he would not. So let's stop the cap right there. That being said, I don't care what it takes, and I don't know what the holdup is. It just needs to get done, and I've gone on record to say it will be done by June 1st, and I will tell you why. By the time June 1st rolls around, the draft will be over, and the direction of where the Vikings are going, one way or the other, whether it's with Kirk Cousins, whether it was a bridge quarterback and the guy we drafted, or whatever the case may be, the Justin Jefferson situation will be dealt with. He will be signed. He's not going to be traded. And I'll say this, if he is going to be traded, it will be within the next 2 months because they're not going to trade him post this season's draft. If they're going to do it, they're going to do it this year because you don't want to trade a guy and then recuperate the picks the following season as your first go round of picks when he's made that team better. But he's not going to get traded. One, there is very few trade scenarios out there that I would even accept, and there are even less trade scenarios out there that Kwesi Adofo-Mensah would take. He went on record today saying, it's not been a thought on my mind. Blue chip player, blue chip person, this, that, and the third. He said it last year, champagne problems this. That's the only problem I have with Justin Jefferson is it's going to be champagne problems. End of discussion. I don't even want to give it any more time. It's ridiculous how many reports there have come out of, the Vikings might be open to trading him. Yeah, they're about as open to trading him as the Kansas City Chiefs are open to trading Patrick Mahomes. You could offer the Chiefs 15 first-round draft picks. 15 of them. They'd say no. As well they should. Nobody would offer 15 first-round draft picks for Patrick Mahomes anyway. Nobody's going to offer the Vikings enough to make it worth for Justin Jefferson. I'm sorry. It's going to get done, and this shouldn't even be a discussion topic. And so I'm not even going to spend that much time on it. Justin Jefferson will get done. I know Justin Jefferson liked that comment of Kirk and his grills. That's all well and good. Of course he is. He's a good dude. He's going to support his guy for as long as he's his guy. And the second he's not his guy, okay, it was fun. Justin Jefferson, he wouldn't be on pace after 4 seasons, the most yards and catches and whatever else for any wide receiver in the first 4 years of their career if it wasn't for Kirk Cousins. Stop. What did Justin Jefferson do when Kirk Cousins was gone? Oh, yeah. he still was Justin Jefferson. And he will be with the next guy quarterback too. Whether that's this upcoming season or a couple of years from now, doesn't matter. Justin Jefferson will be a member of the Minnesota Vikings for a long time. He will get a contract extension done. And at the end of it, all you other teams out there thinking, well, could we put up a trade package? I saw one today where the Chiefs were going to give the Vikings 2 first-round picks and a third-round pick. Okay, stop. There is a better chance that Taylor Swift kicks Travis Kelce to the curb tomorrow and shows up on my front door the next day than the Vikings trading Justin Jefferson to the Kansas City Chiefs for 2 first-round picks and a third, or 2 firsts and a second, or whatever that crap was. They're not trading Justin Jefferson. Now, some will make the argument that maybe they should, and do you want to give a wide receiver that much money? I can listen to all that. I've heard all that. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. The one thing you do when you're moving off a good, not great quarterback, and you're going to introduce a rookie quarterback into the mix, is you have Justin Jefferson on your roster, the best wide receiver on the planet, along with Jordan Addison and eventually TJ Hawkinson and a couple of good tackles on the offensive line. Hopefully they bolster up the center position in the guards. But no, you're not trading Justin Jefferson. And this ridiculous notion of we're going to trade Justin Jefferson up to the 3rd pick so we can get one of the quarterbacks, absolutely not. Not happening. I know Justin Jefferson is being a great teammate, saying that he likes Kirk and that he would love to continue to play with Kirk. How many of us have sat around the office, wherever you may work, in corporate America or whatever kind of jobs you got, and your boss comes up to you and says, hey, we're not sure if we're going to keep this guy or gal. What do you think of him? I mean, yeah, if you really don't like that person, you're going to give your honest opinion and say, no, if you were to go ahead and move on from this person, I wouldn't be disappointed by it. Okay. What are you going to say otherwise? If you like the person, oh, I like working with this guy. I like working with this gal. Sure. Love to continue working with him. Oh, well, we ended up moving off of this guy or this gal because we just decided it was a better direction for the organization. You're just going to quit your job the next day? No. Now, yeah, maybe if it's somebody you love to death, maybe then you start looking for other employment. Justin Jefferson, he likes Kirk Cousins a lot. He doesn't like him enough to where he's going to leave millions upon millions of dollars on the table, risk playing on the 5th-year option, and risk getting franchise tagged for 2 years. They are going to back up the Brinks trucks to his house, to his bank, or whatever location he wants those Brinks trucks backed up to, and they're going to dump bags upon bags upon bags of dollars for Justin Jefferson. They're not trading him. He's going nowhere. I don't want to hear any more about it. And that's probably the last time I'm going to talk about it. Now, yes, if there's a report that the Arizona Cardinals said, we'll give you 2 first-round picks, 2 seconds, 2 thirds, basically Herschel Walker, my ears will perk up a little bit, and I'll consider it. But even then, no, I don't want to do that. I want to trade up, get a rookie quarterback. Like I said, Jaden Daniels, Drake Maye, Caleb Williams, one of those 3 guys. Trade up to 3 with New England, get one of those 3 guys, and have Addison on one side, JJ on the other, and SPA would say, let's play. Let's play. No. And shout out to my guy, D Woods, SKOL State of Mind. He did call me out. He did put this Justin Jefferson trade idea on the table back last June. And I will say the same thing I said there. You'd have to blow me away with an incredibly ridiculous package, which no team is going to. So, but I had to shout out my guy D Woods because I forgot to do it the last time I was on. And he's like, hey, I told you about this. Yeah, you're right. You did. You did. So back to the chats. I can't keep up with you guys here tonight. What's up, Rap? Good to see you again. There you go. There was one in here I just saw. Hold on. People say Cousins was having an MVP when we started 1-4. Yes. 1-4 with the guy. Starting out. And then we got to 4-4 and we're turning things around. Okay, yeah, we beat San Francisco. By the way, everybody say, we beat San Francisco at home by 5 with the game sealing interception with less than 2 minutes. Like we beat them by 17 points. Barely squeaked out a victory. We didn't have Jefferson. They didn't have Trent Williams or Debo. Does that matter? Or are we only going to count the guys we didn't have? Anyway, I digress. Yes, you are correct. I love the media bashing Kirk as a Viking, but he compared to winning all Atlanta. Well, again, I'll say this, Mafia. If he were to go to Atlanta, they would be the favorites for that division, and they could get to the divisional round of the playoffs, which is about how far Kirk is going to take you. And with where the Falcons are at right now, that's an improvement for them. That's not enough for me. And I'm going to say this too. It's not Kirk's fault that our drafts have been terrible for the last 4 years. Okay, let's conveniently forget about 2018 and 2019 where he had the best defense in the league. And then, okay, yeah, they dropped off a little bit. They're still top 10 both years. The Vikings had done a great job putting a team together around the rookie contract that was Teddy Bridgewater before his knee blew up. They had been spending their salary cap dollars wisely. They weren't spending money like drunken sailors, and they built up a team, and Kirk was plopped into that team. Oh, well, that's not Kirk's fault. That's John DeFilippo, and that's Mike Zimmer, and that's Xavier Rhodes falling off, and that's Trey Waynes being mediocre, and this, everything but Kirk Cousins. Okay, so for the last 4 years, when you want to talk about how the team around him wasn't built the right way, we're going to leave out the fact that he was dropped into a team that was built the right way? I'm sorry. Moving on. You just can't help myself. Dre may get sacked a lot. And what team have he played good against to say he's a nice quarterback? Okay, that's fair enough. Maybe I've just misinterpreted. The last couple of shows I've watched, whether it's on your channel with Don Rabb, you said you made it sound like you think he's garbage versus you're not convinced that he might be great. But I'll take my chances with Drake May under the tutelage of Kevin O'Connell with Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison et al. I'll be fine. I'll be fine with him. Again, I'll take Jaden Daniels 1, and I'll take Drake May 2. I'll take Drake May over Caleb Williams. I'll just say it like that, but I'll take any one of those 3. All right. I'm way behind on chat, you guys. I'm really sorry. I was watching Dave's video where they made the wild claim that because there are different players on the team that the Vikings are officially rebuilt. I didn't see that. Too Evil, are you serious? Or are you just trying to get me going a little bit? Did he really say that this team has been rebuilt? Okay, come on. What do we got on defense right now besides Ivan Pace? Okay, we got Metellus and Bynum at the safeties. That's good. Byron Murphy Jr. is a solid cornerback, but he's not a number 1 cornerback. Who do we have on the defensive line that's worth a darn? Because we don't have Danielle Hunter back. Harrison Phillips is a solid rotational piece, but he's not a big fat guy in the middle. Where's your pass rush? That's just on defense. What do we got at the guard position? What do we got at the center position? No, this team ain't rebuilt. He's crazy if he says that. Back in the military, there's a thing called 1,000 yard stare. Kirk got 3. Oh, wow. Good one, Norsefius. There you go. Yes. And again, you want to know what's funny about that, Josh? That would be like me starting a rumor. Hey, you know what? Taylor's about to break up with Travis Kelce. Okay, I said it. Does that make a good rumor? And people say everything. It's ridiculous. But is there anything really to put to rest when it was all a bologna sandwich to begin with? I don't know. But I agree with you. It's oh my gosh, it was so ridiculous. Yeah, before him, Ohio State's quarterbacks in the league. Yeah, that's true too. Thank you, Reggie. I appreciate you. Oh, I missed one. Let's see here. Player because in the position, maybe. Yeah, there you go. Shout out GMAX72. What's up, Greg? Good to see you. Thanks so much for joining. I appreciate you. If you guys, let's hit the reset button. If you didn't hit that like button on the way in, hit that like button for me if you could. Too Evil says you don't build your team around a wide receiver. If you want more people to become fans of the Vikings, misery. Sign JJ. Well, I'm not going to go that far, Too Evil. I'm not going to go that far. Yeah, okay, yes, you want to build around a quarterback, but a lot of these quarterbacks. Okay, Tyreek Hill. Oh, the Chiefs got rid of Tyreek Hill, and they won 2 Super Bowls. Well, they won one with Tyreek Hill too, by the way. What's Devontae Adams done? Okay, he was a perennial Pro Bowl top 5 wide receiver and getting to NFC Championship games with the Packers. They didn't quite get over the hump, but he's still pretty good, I think. Yeah, Calvin Johnson never got anywhere. He was a really good wide receiver that didn't get anywhere. But Cooper Kupp made a pretty big catch in that Super Bowl the Rams won, I do believe. So all I'm saying is that until this team does something to build around a quarterback, I want the best wide receiver to be there to help him. That's just me. That's just me. JJ isn't just a wide receiver, he's second coming most. Thank you. Thank you, Josh. Thank you. Appreciate you. Hey, Dayon, what's going on? Good to see you. I know I'm 9-10 minutes behind. on my chats. So I appreciate you, Dayon. Thanks for coming. Well, again, just an analogy, but there is that. There is that. It's just an analogy. I'd like to hope so, but that's just not going to happen. There's other dates that I'd like to be paying for, and I hope to continue to pay for, but that's a whole nother story that we won't get into here. Again, I figured since, Taylor's been the talk of the NFL that was the best analogy, but okay, let's move on. Yeah, I agree with you, Reggie. I agree. We ain't trading him to the Chiefs unless the compensation is Mahomes. Thank you. That I would do. Short of that, nothing. Shout out Yogi in the building. What's going on, Yogi? Good to see you. If you guys don't already subscribe to Yogi's channel, hit him up as well. Can't keep up with the chats. I know that. Yes, indeed. But Kirk Cousins stats, yes. I'll just leave that one there. I'll just let that one sit for 5 seconds. Speaking of my guy, shout out Bob. What's going on? I want to mock. Sorry, I got no mocks tonight, Bob. I don't have access to stuff, and I just really wouldn't be as good as some of the other content creators, like Tyler and Dave, for example. So there you go. Shout out Caesar. What's going on? They bring back Kirk, then Kwesi isn't the real GM of this team. Need to build a team like we did before Kirk. Thank you. I know I was saying some iterations of that just a moment ago, but that's exactly what I said earlier before you got here. If the Wilfs force Kwesi to bring Kirk Cousins back at any price, then what's the point? If you're going to play by the same playbook that you made Rick Spielman play by, then what was the point of getting rid of Rick Spielman? He said it with D Woods. Yeah. No, D Woods been saying it for a while. We'll find out in a couple weeks. Yes, I certainly hope so, Dan. I certainly hope so. And again, I just want to find something else to talk about, something else to argue about, something else to have a civil war over besides a good, not great quarterback making $250 million in one playoff win. Is it all his fault? No. But is he immune from criticism? No. Is the fact that the roster eroded partially him? Yes. Is it partially because we had bad drafts for 10 years since 2015? Yes. But anyway, they're not trading Jay. Well, that's true. Not saying Mahomes wouldn't have gotten there with. Yes. Thank you, Dan. What gives a young quarterback the best chance to succeed? A good running game and a good tight end? No, an all-world wide receiver. So, anyway, at this point, the point is to blame Kwesi instead of a Wilton. Well, yes. Do I hear Herschel Walker? Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Duncan. Thank you. Yeah. Short of that, no. I'm not listening to it anymore. Okay. A couple of rapid fire things to close out here because I got about 10 minutes before I got to leave to go pick up Mini Me here from rehearsal. So what does all this mean for Danielle Hunter? It means he's probably gone. And I hate saying that because I would like to have Danielle Hunter back on this team. I really would. And for anybody that says, well, Justin, you just got done talking about you don't want a 36-year-old quarterback who, getting market value, who might be falling off the age cliff. Fair points. Danielle Hunter is going to be turning 30, not 36. Number one. Number two, he only has 2 years of dead years. He only has 2 years of take 3. He only has 2 void years clomping up dead cap hits. It's easier to roll in 2 years than it is to roll in 4 years into a new contract, particularly when you can sign him to a 3 or 4 year contract. And what else do you got? Now, again, quarterback, a little different than pass rush. But for anything he wants to say this about Kirk Cousins, how you're not saying it about Danielle Hunter is beyond me. Well, we got the extra salary cap space. We can sign Kirk Cousins and Danielle Hunter and extend Justin Jefferson and sign free agents, right? Sure, if you want to spend 50 to 60 million of 2025 and 2026's salary cap for absolutely no reason for an older quarterback coming off an Achilles injury, but I digress. I would give Danielle Hunter what he wants. 1, because I'm not bringing Kirk Cousins back. 2, because you got nothing else. But 3, I still believe Danielle Hunter's got 3 to 4 years of outstanding play left in him. Now, maybe I'm wrong. And the Kirkistans will say, well, Justin, you're biased because you believe that for anybody but Kirk. Not necessarily. But what I will say, Danielle Hunter is a freak. He's a freak of nature. We got nothing else. So, yes, bring Danielle Hunter back. Do I think he's going to be back? No, because I think by the time they get done dipsy-doodling around with whether they're going to bring Kirk back and whether Kirk's going to accept their offer and whether they cave to him or not, that Danielle Hunter's already going to be long out the door, looking at other offers from other teams, which is why I'm going to circle back and say when Kirk Cousins blew out his Achilles, you should have traded Danielle Hunter then if you couldn't get him re-signed, as opposed to letting him walk for nothing. I don't want to hear about a compensatory pick in 2025. Guess what? If you traded him to, say, the Jacksonville Jaguars, you'd have their second-round pick, maybe their first. Or maybe you would have been having to give up a third-round pick to get Jacksonville's first, but whatever. But then Jacksonville would have re-signed him. And now it's possible he could go to Detroit. He could go to Chicago. He could go to Green Bay. That's part of the other reason I want Danielle Hunter back, is just so that he doesn't go to one of those three teams. But in all seriousness, I think that the Vikings would be remiss if they didn't finally give Danielle Hunter the bag he so richly deserves, because he got nothing else on the defensive line, and I don't want to see him go to one of our divisional rivals. That being said, the Vikings hire Josh McCown as their quarterbacks coach. You remember Josh McCown's? McCown takes the snap. He's all by himself, fires into the end zone. Caught. No. Yes, that is the same Josh McCown who led the Arizona Cardinals in the finale of the 2003 season, knocking the Vikings out of the playoffs. The famous Paul Allen call. No. Yes, that guy. Rap did a great video. After the show, go check out Rap's video on this hire. He was the quarterbacks coach with Drake Maye in high school. Now, does that mean, oh, well, the Vikings are bringing in a guy who's got a connection to Drake Maye? Does that mean that's who they're going after? I don't know. Maybe it is. Maybe it isn't. At the end of the day, I like this move because I like some fresh blood. And if it happens that we get Drake Maye and he's got a connection, so much the better. But I just found it interesting. I'm like, the Vikings hire Josh McCown. 21 years later, they're slightly over 20, so 20 and a half, the guy that knocked us out of the playoffs. He was given the keys to Green Bay because that allowed the Packers to get into the playoffs. They ultimately... Oh, yeah, that was the time they beat Seattle in the wild card round where Matt Hasselbeck says heads and we're going to win, and then he throws a pick six. Granted, the Packers ultimately got destroyed the following week by the Rams, I do believe. But anyway, I like that move. I think it's a solid move, and I hope, and I really do hope that whoever the rookie quarterback is, whether that's Drake Maye, Jaden Daniels, or whoever, that this gives the Vikings the extra, whatever you want to call it, that they need to develop this next guy. Kevin O'Connell was brought in here to find the next quarterback and to develop him. So I like this move. He's a journeyman quarterback, been around the league, been in many different offenses. And again, if it's Drake Maye that they're going after and it's a guy he's already got a connection with, so much the better. I'd love it. Like I said, I'm not as done. I like him a little bit more than Zoe does. I'll take Jaden Daniels first. But like I said, trade up with New England at 3 and just take whichever one of the three of them is not there. So with all that said, this salary cap business, salary cap went up. Vikings got more money to spend. That means that they can find a way to sign Cousins, JJ, Danielle Hunter, and run it all back. And maybe we get Harrison Smith to take a pay cut. Listen, remember when you played Monopoly and you played by house rules where you put 500 in the middle? If you landed on free parking, you got that 500 and anything else you could get. Yeah. One person would land on free parking and collect the pots. The Vikings are not the only team that got an increase in the salary cap. Everybody did. Does that mean it's meaningless? No, it doesn't mean it's meaningless. Teams like the Saints, for example, it was meaningless to them with how far over the salary cap they are. That extra millions just took them from like 90 million in the hole to like, 75 or 80, but whatever. The players are going to know that the salary cap went up. So anybody that thinks that Kirk Cousins is going to take a 2 years, $70 million, yeah, he's not going to take that. I'm a little upset with the Vikings, particularly whether it was Kwesi, whether it was the Wills, or whatever the hang-up was on Justin Jefferson for not getting it done last year. Well, it's going to cost you a little bit more. And now it's going to cost you a little bit more, plus a little bit more now that the salary cap went up. But having said that, I do think that this will allow the Vikings to be halfway decent players. I think they got the 12th most cap space. So for once, we won't be bargain bin shopping in free agency, or as my guy Rhino from Vikings Uncensored would say, the Walmart discount, the Walmart clearance shopping bin. But no, I'm not interested in taking that extra money and giving into Kirk Cousins' demands. If you need to throw on a little bit more money for Justin Jefferson, yes. Signing Danielle Hunter, yes. I'm still on record to say that Harrison Smith has played his last game with the Minnesota Vikings. Maybe he'll take a pay cut again, but I don't know that you can do that 2 years in a row. But we'll see. We'll see. So with all that being said, let me get to this last round of chats here. Thank you everybody tonight for joining. As always, if you haven't already done so, hit that like button. If you don't already subscribe, hit that subscribe button there as well. Caesar says, I love Kirk wearing orange shorts trying to get that Broncos money. Hey, George Payton. He was the guy, the assistant GM to Rick Spielman in 2018 when we brought him in. I'd be happy with that. And you know what? No matter what team Kirk plays for, I wish him well. I'm not going to be one of those guys. Well, I hope Kirk wins a Super Bowl if he goes to a different team because I really like. No, I don't buy that. Never have. The Kirk stands again. I hope the Kirk stands will have the same energy for Kirk if he goes and he's just terrible for the last couple of years of his career. If he has the same kind of performance that Case Keenum did after he left the Vikings, says, see, it was a good thing we didn't bring Case back. He's been terrible ever since he left us. Okay, you're leaving out the fact that he had his best season because he had Thielen and Diggs and a solid team around him. And then when he went to a garbage team, he was back to being a mediocre journeyman quarterback. Okay, have that same energy for Kirk if Kirk ends up being the same mediocre guy that he's been and that his team doesn't get anywhere. Have that same energy is all I'm going to say on the that's all I have to say about that. How about the fact that without drafting a nearly perfect, you can't build a good enough team around Kirk to win a Super Bowl? Yep, said that earlier too. You have zero margin for error. And again, that doesn't mean we're saying he's terrible. I've never once said he's terrible. What I've said was I know what he is and I know what he isn't, but I digress. Mahomes is doing Mahomes thing without him. Yeah, we don't have that guy. So until we do, I would like to have JJ on the team with us. All right, what do you got? Thinking we are keeping check down Charlie like the flogging a dead horse move on. Yes, thank you. I wouldn't mind Saquon at the right price. I'm not breaking the bank to bring in a running back. But yeah, if Saquon would come here for 6-7 million, which I don't think he would, because again, players get as much money as you can. If you could get Saquon here for 6, 7, maybe 8 million, sure. I absolutely agree with that. No, yeah, Hunter is probably good. Hunter would have already been re-signed if he was willing to take a deal that the team was amenable to. And again, I think he's a player that the team should be willing to give more money to, but no, he hasn't. That's the other thing too. Even if Kirk wasn't coming off an Achilles injury, I'd be saying the same thing. He's going to be 36. Market value for a 36-year-old guy. No. Can't wait for our compensatory pick we give away. Yes. I can't disagree. He'll say otherwise, and okay. Well, how the compensatory picks work, real quick, no stop, is they have a formula with each year they look at how many free agents you lost and how many free agents you signed. And if you lost 7 free agents and you only signed 3, depending on how much you signed these guys for and how much the guys you lost signed for in other places, they have some mathematical equation they put into a computer that generates how many picks you get and what rounds they're at. So I think part of it is their age, part of it is their contract, and part of it is how many you sign. Like, let's say you lose 6 free agents, but you sign 8 of them. Well, then you don't get any comp picks because you replaced them with the same number. I don't know what the exact formula is, though. I think the highest you can get for Kirk and for Danielle, but for that matter, I think it's a third. Because I think third is the highest comp picks you can get anyway, but we'll see. All right, everybody, shout out one more time to Lord Duncan. First 100 subscribers will eventually get a free t-shirt. All right, there you go. Shout out my guy, Lord. Go sub him up if you could, ladies and gentlemen. Shout out Roger in the building. What's going on, Roger? Good to see you. Thanks for coming. You're going to have to hit the rewind button because I'm about to get up out of here. Shout out Skoltron Julio. One of my favorite handles of all time. It's not my worthless opinion. By the way, anybody seen MWO? I haven't seen him in anybody's chats in a while. Hope he's all right. Or maybe he's just taking the offseason up. But Skoltron, as in my favorite cartoon in the 80s growing up, Voltron. I appreciate you. Thank you, Julio, for coming out here tonight. Appreciate you. Appreciate everybody who came on tonight. Thank you so very much. Keenum did more with the same team than Kirk couldn't take to play. Yes, I would concur. Falcons about to get field. Are you saying that in a general sense, SKOL Mafia? Or is there some reports on there? Or is it just kind of being floated out there? Hunter is definitely going to a team with no state income. Well, I wouldn't blame him for that. There you go. Absolutely. I forget, where did I see you, Skull? I think it was on Purple Daily is where I first saw you. But yeah, I was like, Skulltron. I love it. All righty. I got to run. Thank you, everybody, so kindly for joining me. As always, SKOL to the next episode. Keep it tuned. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. Ring that notification bell. because I'm going to be getting back into this content thing. Like I said, had a lot of things taking up my time, energy, and my mind, but as they say, I'm back. And we're just a couple of weeks away from the start of free agency. And hopefully we'll finally get some answers and we'll be able to argue about something other than Kirk Cousins. Of course, if the Vikings re-sign him, I'll be live saying, what were you thinking? If he signs with somebody else, I'll be live saying, thank you, Kirk, for the great memories. And thank you, Kwesi, for not doing the same thing over and over and over again. Thank you, Kylie, as always. The elevator gets you down. Go crazy. Punch a higher floor. Good night.